The Sioux soars. Myers dominates the scores. Some teams right now, well, they wish they were permanently at a campground, just eating some s'mores. Some rough records out there. But I promise it gets better. OVFL Live begins now.
Light the candle!
Hi, everybody!
You're listening to OVFL Live, your radio home for OVFL scores, stories, and interviews with Marshall Ferguson. Thank you everyone for tuning into the show this week. Sorry we were gone last week. Life got a little bit hectic for me. I had to change my Twitter handle, which meant I wasn't able to do an episode 3 last week. So now that we're in week 4, should I call this episode 3? Should I call this episode 4? You can let me know on Twitter at TSN_Marsh, at OVFL_live. Don't forget to reach out and give us all of your scores, updates, and things that you want to talk about on this show, because I love your input, because I am, as I said in episode 2, just one man, trying to entertain you, bring you some of the best youth football that this country, that this province has to offer. We are going to begin the prom photo contest. Again, last year, Myers Riders' John Allaire with his rainbow suit, which was spectacular, was kind of unmatched in the competition. I know there's a new crop of guys out there, and the fun part about the OVFL is that you are indeed close to or of graduating age, or maybe you're just taking some really pretty girl that you know because it's her graduation and you decide to go with her. In that situation, you can feel even better about just wearing whatever the heck you want, because you don't have to deal with trying to worry about what your mom thinks of your get up for your prom. Just go with a girl. That way you can wear whatever you want and you can send us a funny picture. We're going to have a competition on our Facebook page, as we did last year, to find out who has the craziest prom, grad, whatever you want to call it, suit. Looking forward to that. Going to get right into some of the results from week number 3 in the OVFL right now. Today's show might be a little bit quicker, as a little tight for time today, but the varsity top performances on defense: Ronald Caulfield Jr., Markham Raider linebacker, wearing number 52, 11 tackles, 6 of them coming as solos. Joshua Ferrucci of the Hamilton Ironmen, linebacker number 28, 12 tackles, 4 solo. And Cam McNeil, number 20 for your Niagara Spears, had the trifecta, a 3 interception performance. Now, don't get me wrong, I've thrown 3 interceptions before. I don't know if I've thrown all 3 of them to the same guy. I don't know if that's a thing that I did. I mean, I'm sure I threw enough when I played in the OVFL. There's probably some guy out there who has 3 balls signed by me, delivered by me. Love to know who you are that picked me off 3 times. The quarterbacks in the varsity ranks: Anthony Bontorin, Essex Ravens quarterback, number 16, 16 of 27, so a decent completion percentage, 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. But Jacob Spinella, I don't know where Myers finds these quarterbacks, these guys. They're everywhere. They seem to just develop them on trees out in Ottawa. Wearing number 1, 13 of 15. That's a pretty good completion percentage. 374 yards. It's not 400, but get this, 6 TDs. How do you end up with 6 touchdowns? It's wild. I think that might have been how many touchdowns I threw in the entire season the one year I played in the OVFL. Running backs: Cole Cussman, our boy that we talked to a couple of weeks ago on the show here. I always called him out for, you know what, Cole, you have such a great time. You do so many things so well, and you just never get into the end zone. Cole, when are you getting into the end zone? Why can't you just get into the end zone? Well, guess what? In week 3, 22 carries, 161 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did it! Cole got in the end zone!
It's a celebration. Celebrate good times. Come on. Let's celebrate.
Congratulations, Cole Cussman. You get to celebrate the good times. Finally reaching the end zone. Good job, Cole. Javante Stanley of Brampton and Jesse Amunkwa of Etobicoke, also both over 18 carries and over 130 yards. Outstanding performances from those 2 gentlemen competing in the OVFL. Omar Hayes Williams, Essex wide receiver number 5, had 5 catches, 219 yards. What? Longest of 75 yards and 2 touchdowns to go along with his tally. Fela Loki, number 85 for the Ottawa Myers Riders. Ocho Cinco for the Myers. 4 catches, 196 yards, a long of 86, and 3 touchdowns, an average of 49 yards per catch. He had 4 catches, 3 were for touchdowns. That's not bad. Danar Facey as well, the Toronto Thunder, number 10, had 8 catches, a little bit more of a grinded out than Omar Hayes and Fela Loki had. They each had 5 and 4 catches respectively. Danar Facey had 8 catches for 155 yards. Bit more of a grind, but got the job done. Mark Lego, I've mentioned a couple of times, number 19 for the York Simcoe Buccaneers, 5 punts. And I mean, you never want to be punting a large number of times because that means that your team likely isn't winning because you are not producing offensively. But if you have to punt, Mark Lego is your guy. 5 punts, 231 yards, a longest of 53, and an average of 46.2. I'm working covering the Ticats right now for TSN. I looked up Justin Medlock's average last year as part of a story I was writing, and Medlock averaged punts of 46.7 yards per punt. Mark Lego averaging 46.2 in this game. So he is standing out for sure. All of these performances came from a variety of games that were rather tasty, if I don't mind saying so myself. I'm going to dig into them a little bit for you right now. The Cambridge Lions defeating the Hamilton Ironmen, making sure that the Ironmen stay winless. 52-20 is the final there at the Jake. The Sault Ste. Marie Sabercats come down and they played. The Sault Ste. Marie Sabercats get the victory over the Etobicoke Eagles, 48-14 at Superior Heights High School. The York Simcoe Buccaneers, well, it didn't go well against Jacob Spinella that had those 6 touchdown passes. Myers Riders going to win 72-0. The Cornwall Wildcats taking on the Kingston Grenadiers. The Grenadiers come away with the win, 31-13 is your final there from Joe St. Denis Field. So the Grenadiers go on the road. They were my sleeper pick at the beginning of the year, for those of you that listened to episode 1. And I'm interested to see. I mean, Cornwall struggling a little bit right now, but that's a solid win, especially to be on the road because Kingston hasn't traditionally played well on the road throughout the season. The Cumberland Panthers defeated the Toronto Thunder 20-13 in a close-fought matchup at Mary Ward Catholic Secondary School. And the shootout, the game of the week, one that we kind of expected here, the Essex Ravens defeat the London Junior Mustangs 45-43. What a game that must have been to see. If you have any great pictures, have any videos from that, Essex Ravens people or London Junior Mustangs, send them our way. We'd love to retweet them at OVFL_live to send them out and make sure that the credit is due because that sounds like a heck of a game. 45-43 for Essex is the final there. The Oshawa Hawkeyes get a victory over the Markham Raiders. It's 31-10, the final there at Oshawa Civic Stadium. And the West Durham Dolphins fall to the Metro Toronto Wildcats, and Travell Pinto, the standout wide receiver. 23-0 is the final there in favor of Metro Toronto. The final game of the week in the varsity ranks, well, it's the Niagara Spears winning 19-10 over the Brampton Bulldogs at a game that we kind of expected to be exciting, a little bit more of a ground attack perhaps. And, Niagara doesn't typically win these games, 55-3 or 72-0 like Myers did this week. They like to kind of grind things out. So 19-10 is the final there. A good effort put up by Brampton. I could see that very much as being a playoff matchup down the road. I wouldn't expect anything less from those two teams that have shown very well throughout their time thus far in the OV. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, going to hit on some junior football standout performances, maybe a look at the games that are coming up this weekend in week 4, and talk a little bit about some CFL headlines as well. You are listening to OVFL Live.
Ever since I was a kid, for me it's been about the fight until you're gonna win. And through the busted lips and broken limbs, you gotta stick it out right until the very end. I guess we're all grown up now, huh? Thought by now we'd have blown up, huh? like nothing could ever slow us up. Who'd have ever really known it was because of us and this lack of trust, you see? Now is that what you take me as? A sad sack that regrets the past? Like you're telling me I should drop the act? You're saying secretly you know you're still feeling those tracks. Now you know you can't refute the truth. Man, they hate that new music and they miss that old you. And then they wonder why I hate the scene. Yeah, fuck the city, you can keep the key. And now we're feeling kinda heavy. My voice is one that you have never heard. But if you want me and you're ready, I'm down, just say the word. I wanted keys to the city to open up these doors that kept me out, locked shut to what I thought lucidity, when reality seemed like a dream to me. Wake up, and if you want a straight answer, my friend, it depends on how much trust I have left to spend. Listen, man, get by on a short supply, but I won't do you wrong, real talk. And now we're feeling kinda heavy. My voice is one that you have never heard. But if you want me and you're ready, I'm down, just say the word. Go and tell them I'm back now, we're starting over where we left off, never found that closure. At least one of us could keep our own damn composure. Working with the negatives, problems been exposed. 4-leaf clover to play the game, she loves me not. Well, the hangman double checks that double knot. Cause either way I bite the bullet till my gums all rot, and die with my feet rooted in that same old spot where I grew up, screwed up, missed my shot. I was chewed up, threw up, and dug the plot. The city's got its demons, heroes get remembered, legends never die, at least that's how it seems. It's meaningless to pursue your dreams when you end in every line you speak with the word hopefully. Throw away the key and lock myself up purposely, or come for what is mine, yeah, I'll take it all forcefully. And now we're feeling kinda heavy. My voice is one that you have never heard. But if you want me and you're ready, I'm down, just say the word. And now we're feeling kinda heavy. My voice is one that you have never heard. But if you want me and you're ready, I'm down, just say the word.
Welcome back to OVFL Live, everyone. Marshall Ferguson here in CFMU 93.3. Should mention as well from the varsity ranks before we go on to the JV, Sault Ste. Marie, Cambridge, and Myers are the only undefeated teams left in the varsity league. The Sioux, second on defense in interceptions, solo tackles, and defensive touchdowns scored. Nobody who is in first place in any of those statistics owns all three of them, but the Sioux very consistent across their entire D. The statistics starting to show that they might have a superior defense going into the second half of the season here. It is crazy. We're already heading into week 4 in the OV season before we get to the Canada Cup and the Team Ontario takes off and we take our little hiatus there and all of those things that come with summer football. You can check out next week's game schedule that's coming up week 4 on OVFLOntario.com. Be sure to go there for all of your news and updates outside of me, along with some tipster updates on the side of the website. You check those out. I always find those very entertaining to see who's reviewing the games and perhaps predicting them. Let's look at the JV top performances, shall we? On defense, it's Eth Onyemneman, number 45, linebacker, Etobicoke Eagles. 11 solo tackles, 7 assisted. A really good performance there. Christian Claros Ayala, number 45 linebacker for the Durham West Dolphins. 10 solo tackles, 6 assisted, 1 fumble recovery, and a touchdown. And Daniel Valente, number 23 defensive back for the London Junior Mustangs JV squad. 8 solo tackles, 7 assisted, 1 fumble recovery for a touchdown. So a couple of defenders getting into the end zone there, similar to how the Sioux has been able to win a couple of their games as they are undefeated in the varsity ranks. We'll get to the JV rank undefeated in just a moment. For the quarterbacks in JV, the Ben Langlois, number 7, quarterback of the York Simcoe Buccaneers, 26 of 45, 302 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Anytime you're having a 4-touchdown day, your team's got a pretty good chance to win, unless you're maybe in the varsity game and you're playing Essex and Who did they just play? Ooh, we just completely blanked on it. Essex and London, that's what it was. Yeah, just came to me, sorry. Running backs, Jean-Paul Simakinda for the Myers Riders JV team, 23 carries, 302 yards. Long of 41, 5 touchdowns, averaging 13.1 yards per carry in week 3 action in that romp win that they had. Tazy Vang Bell, number 24, running back for the London Junior Mustangs JV team, 15 carries, a whole bunch of yards, long of 70, and 1 touchdown. Jordan Torres of the York Simcoe Buccaneers, 8 catches, 108 yards, along with 35 and 2 touchdowns. And in the kicking game, Brian Garrity, number 9, the punter kicker for the London Mustangs JV team. Again, he's kicking off a whole bunch because the London Junior Mustangs football team, the JV age, playing very well right now. 6 kickoffs, 303 yards, a long of 60, and an average of 50.5. So absolutely hammering the ball off of the tee there in order to put his team in good defensive field position. So props to Brian Garrity for getting the job done at the kicking and punting position. Junior scores that we have from this past week, it was the Etobicoke Eagles 44-13 over the Sault Ste. Marie Sabercats. Again, that game played at the Superior Heights. The game between Essex and London in the JV ranks not quite as entertaining as the varsity matchup was. 41-13 is the final there for the Junior Mustangs over Essex. The Grenadiers play against the Halton Cowboys. The Grenadiers get the win, 30-7. The Cumberland Panthers fall to the Toronto Thunder, 21-0. York Simcoe Buccaneers taking on the Myers Riders JV team, and Myers rolls 43-28 is your final there. So Myers continues to roll again in the JV age group as they have in previous years. The Durham West Dolphins taking on the Metro Toronto Wildcats, and it was Durham West coming out with the victory, 45-20 there from Pine Ridge High School. Game happened on Saturday at 5 p.m. Nice afternoon kickoff. The Niagara Spears 31-14 over the Brampton Bulldogs. The Hamilton Ironmen lose 31-7 to the Cambridge Lions JV team. And Mississauga and Brampton coming together in what appears on the website as a 0-0. We'll have to find out what happened there. If you know, send me a little tweet there at OVFL_live. Games that are coming up in the next week for you, because we're always trying to look ahead and see what the key matchups are going to be for these JV teams as we begin to tear our way through this season further and further. In week 4, it's going to be the Kingston Grenadiers. I don't want to read you the varsity schedule. I want the JV. There we go. The Kingston Grenadiers taking on the York Simcoe Buccaneers. Kingston is at home. It is Saturday. This Saturday, 1 p.m. is kickoff time. The Hamilton Ironmen are also at home against the Etobicoke Eagles from Ron Joyce Stadium at McMaster. That game at 1 o'clock. Cumberland Panthers at home to the Oshawa Hawkeyes. A couple of blue-on-blue matchups there. The Halton Cowboys will travel to play the Toronto Thunder at Mary Ward Catholic School. The Sioux gets to stay at home. Good for them. And they get a marquee matchup against the Essex Ravens. That should be a fun one. That might be our game of the week here. If it wasn't for the Niagara Spears having to travel into TD Stadium to take on the London Junior Mustangs JV team, and rounding out the week's action, it will be the Brampton Bulldogs playing host to the Mississauga Warriors. So lots of great action coming up this week in week 4. We'll be right back after this quick break. Enjoy yourselves. You're listening to OVFL Live on CFMU 93.3 and on YouTube through the podcast.
I jump into seas when I fall asleep, and birds sing lullabies that help me awake. I spun a crown for you, all out of spider web, and you made a dress for me from daisies in your yard. And you were king, and
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you are getting out to the games and watching some of these outstanding young athletes play youth football. I also hope that you're able to take this with you on the road. If you're not familiar with how to download a YouTube video into audio, I'll put some instructions up on the Facebook page, OVFL_live, on Twitter as well. Basically, you just copy and paste the link from the YouTube video into YouTube to mp3.org. It'll change it to audio for you. That way you can throw it on your iPhone. You can listen to it at home. You don't have to have YouTube open. It's just that I use YouTube to send out any of the clips because it's the easiest way to post audio, just so you know why I'm doing what I'm doing, and so that you can know how to take it with you on the road. If you're a player, if you're a coach, if you're a family member, and you're on the road and you're going to a game and you'd like to listen to something to do with what you're traveling to go see, that's the purpose of OVFL Live. Give some coverage to these guys, talk about them, drop a couple of names here and there, drop some stats, give you some score recaps. And I haven't been able to make it out to many games this year. I've been busy trying to cover the Tiger Cats here. So unfortunately, don't have great touch with what's going on in the league right now. I apologize for that. Otherwise, I'd have some more opinions on what's going on. But the reality is, I haven't been able to get to games. So I'm going to do my best right here from Hamilton. Some CFL headlines for you just to round out the show now. Michael Sam out, questionable for this weekend's CFL preseason game with a migraine. So I almost wonder when they first sent out that press release saying, oh, he has a migraine, because that would be very easy to cover up something else and keep him in the dark and say, he's not available for the media, so don't try. But you have to wonder, maybe he does actually have a migraine. If so, unfortunate. Hope to see him back on the field, because I know a lot of people are eager to see what he can do in the CFL game and to actually watch it on the field. And I know TSN will probably have a camera locked in, focusing on him, trying to see how he does, the ISO cam following him around. A tie into the OVFL, some unfortunate news coming out of Tiger Cats training camp today. Brian Bulkey, who was rolled up on day 3 of training camp, has a torn ACL. He is done for the year. Gut-wrenching for anybody that knows Brian, the quality of guy he is, and how much he means to the football community, not just in Hamilton, but down in Essex and all over this province. Anywhere he goes, he brings a smile. He's a genuinely great guy, really, really friendly, great player as well. He came off a torn left bicep last year, was looking forward to getting back into the game. He was backing up a defensive line for the first 2 or 3 days of camp. Then he got rolled up onto his knee, kind of twisted, and they thought, he'll be okay. I actually talked to him not long ago and said, basically, I'll be back in 2 or 3 days. And I said, oh, okay, that's great. I'm super happy to hear that. And then today, head coach Kent Austin of the Hamilton Tiger Cats said, we lost Brian. He's not going to be back this year. And everybody was just kind of floored by it. So if you get a chance, tweet at Brian. I don't have his Twitter handle in front of me, but I know it's something like at Bulky Brian, something like that. Tweet at him and give him some well wishes, because I'm sure that he will very much appreciate those moving forward. Another game that's happening tonight, actually on Friday evening, if you get a chance before you go out to your OVFL games on Saturday and Sunday this week, you get a chance to watch the Calgary Stampeders take on the BC Lions. The defending Grey Cup champions in the Calgary Stampeders are going to be playing, I believe, at home this evening, and they're expected to play all 5 quarterbacks, which is amazing. I love these preseason games because you get an opportunity to see guys who you normally wouldn't, obviously. You're going to see Drew Tate, you're going to see Bo Levi Mitchell, and there's a plethora of other quarterbacks who are just fighting to have a job on the roster. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch that game this evening. That's going to do it for me here, everyone. I appreciate you listening to the show, giving your insights, sending in the tweets, talking a little bit about it. We might take a shorter format throughout the rest of the summer, just so that I can guarantee that I can get you some scores and highlights and updates. Couldn't get an interview this week. Wanted to speak with Travell Pinto, but he's a hardworking man. He's got to go to work. Wasn't able to join me right now, but we'll find a guest for you next week. We're looking forward to bringing you more OVFL coverage and the fantastic athletes that need a little bit of exposure, because as we all know, youth sport in Canada, not exactly the most covered thing of all time. Appreciate you listening. Follow along on Twitter at OVFL_live, at TSN_Marsh if you would like any Tiger Cats updates, because apparently that's all I tweet anymore. That's kind of what my life has turned into. And outside of that, have a safe and happy weekend of Week 4 OVFL action.